How long?
No.
How long was the property on the
These
market?
properties have been out there for a while.
Well, they're stale, so they're not new. Now, brand new properties that just go on the market, they get a lot more action, they get a lot more attention. And then it drops off based upon familiarity. Okay? Point number 3. If you're on the phone with the seller, and even if it's your seller, but in most cases, the reality is that if you're sitting in an open house, you may be sitting in for another agent or on behalf of the manager, and the seller is planning on being there. Well, better said, it's always a great idea to ask the seller, were they planning on being there during the hours of the open house? And if they say no, then you're going to endorse that fact, because you really do not want the seller around there. Sellers only get in the way. If the seller says, well, I do plan on being there, you've got to let them know, and you've got to give the seller a reason for not to be around crowding you. And the best reason to give a seller is to let the seller know that when you're with a buyer, based upon your experience, buyers become very inhibited about giving realistic, true feedback if the seller is right there within earshot of the conversation. The last thing that the buyer would want to do, if the seller is present, would be to disparage or talk negatively about the property, or to say they don't like this or they don't like that. Most buyers feel uncomfortable to do that. Likewise, buyers will feel equally uncomfortable to say they really like it, for fear that they lose some negotiation leverage. So the point is, it's a realistic thing to say to the seller, and based upon my experience, when you do bring that up, the seller will listen to you and just, at the very least, stay out of the space when you're showing it. Everybody comfortable with that point?
And you only do open houses on empty properties?
No. What do you mean? You mean
I mean, not if people are living in them.
of course you do. Sure you do.
Brand new condominiums,
Absolutely.
brand new houses,
No, with people occupying them?
Yeah,
No.
that,
empty.
let me clarify, I think, the question. Open houses are held in vacant properties and also in properties that are currently being lived in by families, but the idea is for you to try to get the family to be out of the property during that 3-hour window of time when the open house is being held. Follow me? That's what I was just alluding to in this conversation you're going to have with the seller over the phone. You with me?
Yeah, I'm with
Okay,
you.
great.
No, it's just that I haven't, I've done the 2, 3, 4, 5 of them now.
No families?
And
Yeah.
all of them vacant properties.
No.
And
No.
what you were saying here seemed to make me feel that open houses are done with occupied properties.
No,
So,
as
so
a
I just wanted to clarify.
As a matter of fact, it's just the opposite. Most of the
Right, most of
properties
those are.
are occupied, but the idea is to make them unoccupied for those 3 hours because people just get in the way. And sellers say the wrong things. Sellers say the dumbest things. So you want to get them out of the mix and let them know that certainly there'll be questions that come up that you don't have the answer to, but you'll document the questions and, of course, get the appropriate answers for the seller and get back to the buyers, okay? Point number 4, dress for success at these open houses. And there's 2 reasons for it. Number 1, you're a representative of Fillmore. You are Fillmore to the seller. And the second part of it is that if those buyers' needs and requirements are not met by that property, you want to be as professional as possible in order to try to get them to want to work with you for you to help them get out and find a property that does meet their requirements, okay? So dress for success.
Or they could be the seller.
Or they could be a seller,
Another
absolutely.
house.
That's a great point. Many people who come to these open houses are people who live in the same building or who live in the neighborhood who are thinking about selling. They want to get an idea of what that property may be worth, and if you're impressive, they may choose you to come in and make a listing appointment for them. So dress for success, be professional, be knowledgeable, okay? Point number 5, try to get to that property a couple days ahead of the event. As I said a moment ago, and we started chatting about this, no one likes surprises. And if you can't, at least get to the open house 45 minutes ahead of time that same day. But it's always a better idea to get there in advance, to walk the neighborhood, and I have a strong recommendation. Most buyers are what we call pocket buyers, meaning that friends, relatives, associates who live in the neighborhood have a network of people, and when they see a property available in their neighborhood, they reach out for that network of people, And if they know someone who's looking for a property, they encourage them to come in. So here's my suggestion. You know, I think everybody in the room here has seen those beautiful home brochures that Fillmore produces for sellers. Get a bunch of them and walk around the neighborhood, the near 2 or 3 blocks, and hand them out, or slip them under doors. Don't put them in mailboxes. Slip them under doors, put them in plastic baggies, hang them on the door knocker with a little note that says open house Sunday, November 31st, whatever it might be, okay? Because people who come to the door may be, as we said a moment ago, they may be potential sellers, or they may be real buyers, and you could very easily get into the mix and make some money for yourself, okay?
Sometimes of these electric poles, you see them, can you put the,
Yeah.
stick there, you know,
I mean,
Illegal, I
is it
believe,
illegal
but-
or
you know,
legal? That's what
I
I'm
think,
But-
yeah, I mean, no one's going to, you'll get a warning first, but the best thing to do is to go to the individual properties, slide them under the front door, put them between the door. If it's a condominium, you know, slide them, you know, under the doors, but get the word out, okay? Walk the neighborhood, familiarize yourself with the neighborhood. It'll take you 15 minutes to do so. Get to the house and, you know, let the seller know that you're coming by just to walk through the house. And when you get to the property, have a pad, this is by yourself, have a pad, a clipboard, and go through the property and outline those elements in the property or those features in the property that are special, unique, and different. Those points that you're going to bring out in your presentation. Now, obviously, the best source, besides from going physically there, is the actual property description that the listing agent wrote up. But there may be other elements in the property that may be outstanding as well. So make a list of those and sort of decide on the route that you're going to take to demonstrate the property. Do that all ahead of time so that you're not rushed the day of the event. Okay?
Talking about something,